Hi everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Tawana Speaks TV. Hi everyone, I'm your host Tawana Kelly and welcome to Tawana Speaks TV. Each week on Tawana Speaks TV we come with different topics and that we talk about to help you uncover fears and barriers that are standing in your way to success, both personally and professionally. That's why they call me the Fear Busting Advancement Coach. I help you to get over those fears and barriers. We want you to advance to the next level, to live the life that you were destined to live. That is our goal here at Tawana Speaks TV. So this week's topic, we're going to talk about your mind is your barrier. That's right. So today we're going to talk about your mind being your own barrier to your success. Oftentimes we are our own worst enemy. Believe it or not, we are often our own worst enemy. We sabotage our own blessings and our own success without even realizing that that is what we're doing. If you are psychologically conditioned that this is all you're going to have, you don't deserve or need to get that, you're never going to progress to the next level. You're never going to achieve the success you want. Have you ever heard of that terminology, self-fulfilling prophecy? Well, it's a real thing. What that means is whatever you think and say, you internalize, and then it becomes real. That's exactly true. Whatever you think and feel and speak, that becomes real. So if you feel and think that you can't accomplish something, that you can't perform some sort of task, then you're not going to. Simple as that. That's the difference between people that are successful and people that are not successful. Those people that are successful, they had a gut feeling, a gut knowledge, a belief deep down that they were going to be able to succeed, that they can accomplish what they were set out to accomplish, and nothing and no one was going to stop them. They did not let the mind chatter, and mind chatter is real. They did not let that mind chatter stop them and convince them that they couldn't succeed and couldn't accomplish their goals. Believe it or not, your mind is your biggest obstacle. Let me give you a couple of examples. Well, let me give you an example. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. I, for many years, over a decade, have been a corporate trainer, specifically more so a technical trainer. So it was my job to train on computer software. So obviously I have to have a technical analytical mind to be able to learn software, and oftentimes it would have to be quick. You know, you are scheduled to teach one class and then someone drops out and at the last minute you have to teach another class that you were not prepared for. So you have to cram very quickly and learn very quickly what you need to accomplish that goal. So clearly, learning something difficult and learning something new quickly has never been a problem for me. Well, one time I tried to work at a part-time job. All right, it was in property management. Now, believe it or not, I actually love property management. I love the whole property management aspect, the leasing, the showing of properties, the whole thing that goes along with it. I love it all. The only problem with it is that there wasn't any pay in it. It didn't pay enough for me. That's the only reason why I didn't stay in property management. Plus, it wasn't my calling. So, while I was in the property management mode, I took a part-time job as a property management. I was a leasing agent. So I worked for this company, and in my opinion, the company's processes were very antiquated, very convoluted, and made absolutely no sense to me. And for the life of me, in my brain, I could not reconcile why they were following the processes that they were following. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? And I could never satisfy that why. And because of that, I thought the process was, as I said before, antiquated and convoluted and flat out stupid. So because I had these feelings and thoughts pertaining to the processes of this particular property management company, my brain would not let me absorb and grasp the processes that they wanted. I just couldn't get it. For some reason, I would miss some step that didn't make sense, or I would forget about some step, and or do something out of order, and it just didn't make sense to me. And for the life of me, for the longest time, I kept saying to myself, Tawana, why are you not getting this? You are smarter than this. You are used to breaking down complex situations and disseminating that information to people. That's what you've been doing for over a decade. Why is this stupid, simple process in property management causing you so much grief? Well, I decided to give up. I just gave up and I quit. I left. It was just too much for me to handle. And it wasn't until years later, after I started analyzing where I was, where I wanted to be, and how I was going to get there, I started thinking to myself and analyzing, why did I have such an issue? When I worked in property management for many, many years, I had no issues. That wasn't my only property management. That was just a part-time job. I worked in property management for several years prior to that part-time job and had absolutely no issues. So I kept thinking to myself, Tawana, why are you having such an issue with this particular position? And then it dawned on me, because my brain wouldn't reconcile the why am I doing what I'm doing. I couldn't make sense of why we were doing this. We didn't have any computers. We didn't use computers. Everything was handwritten. I thought that was the dumbest thing ever in the computer age that we've been in. Why are we writing everything down? Why is there not a computer on this desk? It was just ridiculous. I had to type up a lease on a typewriter. So the whole process was just too much. So I said, that is it. My brain blocked my success in that particular job. Because when I said to myself, this is stupid, it makes no sense, I shut myself off and I turned my brain off and I said, that is it. No more. I'm not doing this. And my brain gave up. And then ultimately I gave up and left. My brain was my barrier to succeeding in that company. If I bought in to their processes and I was fully on board, I would have been able to grasp that whole process with no problem and worked it for as long as I wanted to work it, and I've been successful. But I just could not buy in to what they wanted to do. It just did not feel natural. It did not feel right. It just did not feel good. So my brain said nope, and I did not allow myself to buy into the process. So I gave up. Don't let your brain be your barrier to your success. If you're having difficulty with something, figure out where the difficulty is coming from and figure out a way to get past that. Figure out a different process that makes sense to you if that's what you need to do. But if you're not succeeding in being the fearless leader that you want to be, it's because you have not reconciled that in your brain. You have not fully grasped what and why that's going to get you to the next level. So don't let that happen to you, okay? Keep in mind, you are the gatekeeper of your own fate. If you don't succeed, it's nobody else's fault but your own. So always keep that in mind. Never ever let your brain be the barrier. Because if you look at something, realize it's too difficult, and give up, you're never going to get anywhere. You're never going to get anywhere. We're going to always, always, always come up on situations that are difficult. That are not easy. They're not comfortable. When you come upon those situations, it's up to you to take a breath and figure out how you're going to tackle that and overcome it. You can't let it beat you and break you down. You will never succeed, ever. I've said this before. I'll say it again. I will continue to say it. No one ever becomes successful by being comfortable. Ever. So if you are comfortable, you darn sight better figure out, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? Am I really challenging myself? Am I really growing? Those are the questions you need to ask yourself if you are comfortable where you are, what you're doing. Always get comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's a very important trait to have if you want to be successful. So that is our conversation for today. Thank you for joining me on this week's topic. I am so glad you took the time out of your schedule to join us. And we will see you next week. Until then, stay fearless.